Okay, this is Alan Weinkauf, and he's going to explain about the Maquiladoras in Mexico. Okay, where exactly was the
plant was in Reynosa, Mexico, which is just across the border from McAllen, Texas. It was a General Motors plant, and the injection molding or plastic plant was a captive plant. We only made parts for the other plants that were in our complex. We didn't ship plastic molding anywhere. We made both structural components, mostly for dashboard components, the instrument cluster, and so we had some that were very precision. For instance, like we call them the lenses. That's the colored, the acrylic plastic that goes across the face, whereas the back of it is a structural material made out of some other plastic material. In our plant, we used an injection molding machine that was called a toggle clamp. The other kind of a plastic injection molding machine is hydraulically operated. In the toggle clamp, of course, the plastic is put in a reservoir. It goes through a tube which spins it and heats it, melts it, and then the clamp comes over the top and closes the mold. And you have an A face and a B face. Of course, the positive thing, the back and the front, if you will. The mold then closes, and when it's closed, then the material is shot in. Now, the engineers that engineer those things, they have what they call screws, but you have to have places that the plastic goes in, and you also have to have vents where the air comes out, because after all, it's displacing air. The rule of thumb is that the machines are rated on tonnage. So if you take a mold, whatever the size it is, and measure the base of the part, it's about 2.5 tons per base square inch. So if you had 50 square inches, you'd need a 150-ton machine in order to mold that. The parts are automatically ejected out, and they come out warm, not hot, warm. And all of those materials that they use are thermoplastic. So if you have a bad part, you can chop it up and run it back in through again, as long as you don't contaminate it with some other material.
Right.
The hardest molding is for like lenses, like the face of the instrument cluster, for example. Yeah. Because if you get any tiny little specks of any kind of a contaminant in there, the part is scrapped. It has to be clean, clean, clean. Also, that's acrylic material. You know what acrylic is? The clear plastic material is very soft, so you have to handle it very carefully. Otherwise, you get scratches in it.
Would it be too expensive to put polycarbonate in a
Polycarbonate is a structural material. That's what they like to use more in the back of it.
Okay.
It's strong, and it's less resistant to scratches and things like that. But polycarbonates don't come clear. And for the lenses, of course, you need them clear. You got to look at them. And those acrylics are used in the instrument clusters, in the radio face, in the headlight, tail lights of the car. That's all acrylic material.
Did you like working down there in,
I love it.
Mexico?
I love it. We had a good workforce. They were willing workers. They learned quickly. They didn't give us any trouble, and we felt that we treated the employees extremely well. The plant was kitchen clean all over. All of the operators, and they were mostly young women that did the assembly work and so forth, were all provided with a smock to keep their clothes clean. They had regular breaks. We provided them with lunch, and they worked according to Mexican labor law, not U.S. labor law. So their days were long. Our standard work day was 9 hours, and the work week was 45 hours. So they were long work weeks, and the girls were young. In Mexico, according to the labor law, you could start working when you were 16 years old in a factory. Now, in all those cases where we had something that provided some semblance of danger, like a pinch, like a press or something, we would automate that and put a robot there, so that the operator never had to put their hands in the working area of the machine.
But they had an on-site lunchroom.
Oh yeah, we had a full cafeteria with hot meals.
Cafeteria.
You betcha. Very clean, very well regulated, and we were very, very, very safety minded. All operators and all managers and all engineers had to wear safety glasses as soon as you stepped out of the office, regardless of what your job was. That was a rule, and it was
Kinda
a
like
rule that was if you were caught more than once.
Kind of like the space program.
Almost. If you were caught, more than once without your safety glasses, you were subject to discharge. Actually, it was that strict. That strict. The plant was air conditioned. It was a nice working environment. It was kept around 72 degrees all the time.
Is that plant still down there?
No. Yes, this plant is there, but it's not owned by General Motors any longer. It was sold off and they consolidated. We had 6 plants altogether, and they consolidated that down into 3, and they sold the other 3 off. And that happened when the conversion went from General Motors to Delphi. Delphi, of course, being a separate corporation. We had to cross those courses. We had to cross the river every day, so it was a real
You have to show your passport
thing, because you had to go across the bridge, and we had a work pass. We had a work permit we got from the Mexican government, but the lines were long, wait times.
big traffic jam.
Traffic jam, because there were thousands of people working in those Maquiladora plants. Now the Maquiladora thing was that the manufacturing plant was in Mexico.
You got 5 seconds.
But then the stuff was shipped to the United States and was warehoused